Hi guys. I'd love to discuss with you today the magic of rain. What's interesting is this was something I kind of planned on doing. You know, I have a lot of things on my mind and I thought, we'll do this. But as we're getting this together, there is an intense rainstorm coming this way. So when we take a little trip outside during this video, you're going to see it very dark and mysterious out there. So it's coming. Perfect for this kind of vibrational field. And it gets me in that mood I want to be in for this particular read, The Magic of Rain. Now, as you know, I assume you do, natural acts have magical meanings. They can portend blessings, warnings, trials. But rain is a heavenly gift. I don't really feel it's right to run to quicken, shelter yourself when rain comes. I personally love when rain falls on my hair. My hair responds very well to it. So it's a beautiful vibrational field of energy. It's something that you can utilize. Here's some of the ways you could. When it rains and the sun is shining, that is considered to be called a healing rain, because rainbows pass through it, and it is suggested that you take that water and store it in a blue-green colored glass jar preferably, and place it in a bath, a shower, on the body. But remember what I said though about it. Place it in a bottle though. Rain prefers glass, so don't put it in metal. Rain and metal work against each other. Rain rusts metal. Glass is more appropriate. Plastic is absolutely inappropriate for the entire environment. There's nothing natural about it. And you can even put it in something wooden if you would like to, because although rain could also destroy wood per se, it was used since ancient times though to hold water. So whether I'm thinking also in terms of ceramic, but ideally in our modern age, contain it in glass. Rain gathered during a thunderstorm, and especially when there's lightning attached to it, of course, has negative ions from the lightning. Now, negative ions have a positive effect on us human beings. So when we use that kind of water, and I've collected it in bottles, every time there's a rainstorm, I'll collect what I call wicked weather water. And then I'll put the date on of when that particular storm occurred, what season, what kind of energies were in the air, where the moon was, and so forth. But when you then want to utilize this water, it will enhance the quality of, let's say, people could call it their spells or their potions, but you could use it for your prayers, your intentions. It'll imbue special favors from the heavens, where this gift comes from, into your intentions. You know, they say, as a matter of fact, that you get blessings from the pixie world, the fae in your garden, if you catch rainwater with a silver spoon that has bounced off of your crystals in the garden. And I keep a lot of different crystals in the garden, from quartz to amethyst, well, you name it. I could go on and on. But again, collect it as it bounces. I know it seems tedious, but it's worth it. Then you take this water that you've collected and you can place it on objects. Now, not just any objects, objects that are frequently lost. So, if those are, let's say, even in my case as a psychic, keys, remotes, my extra pair of glasses, shoes, socks, if you don't want to be rushing around in the morning, where the heck did I put my wallet? But especially keys. Place a few drops of that rain you've gathered from a silver spoon that the fae, they say, have imbued, and you're going to find you're less likely to lose the object that normally you would. They say midnight rain collected during a new moon, which is going to actually be the night after this is filmed, and potentially could go out by then, but any new moon that you're going to get a thunderstorm. And during these summery months, you're certainly going to get plenty of them. Collect rainwater in your desired receptacle, I prefer glass, place that water on your third eye. It is said that you can have visions of the future as a result of that water that enters into the flesh. It takes about 7 seconds for that to occur, and wends its way to some extent, at least its essence does, to the pineal gland, where you can get visions. If you'd like to purify your jewelry or charms, or really any object, again, they say, because when we talk about things that are Wiccan or magical, they're often not written down, they're word of mouth, so they say these things. Go out in a rainstorm, toss this charm or jewelry or ring into the air 3 times, catch it with your hand though, not let it fall on the ground, back into the energy field of the rain, facing west preferably, which has a very auspicious direction for this kind of enhancement or purification or luck. And it is said by doing so 3 times, and again, catching it with your hands, you better be pretty good at this, because you don't want to lose your favorite tchotchke or magical amulet somewhere on the grass or in the brush or the ivy, and then you'll be out there with the lightning going nuts while you're crying because as tears are going down your head because you're looking for your piece of jewelry. So yes, don't do that unless you feel you are rather a good ambidextrous, or sort of like me, which is a pretzel jetzel. But you will imbue your jewelry with purification. That's a good thing. And one last thing, by the way. Listen to the sounds of rain. I'm sure you have. Pay more attention, and you'll notice that there are voices and percussive sounds that come from rain as they tap on buckets and wood and roofs and gutters, and as they fall. And as that water streams, you can hear the voices of the water spirits. They are called the undines. And this energy field is music as it streams. And if you listen carefully, those voices, those songs will speak to you. I don't mean to sound eerie, but they say that gathering rain that slides off of granite tombstones or gravestones empowers, again, intentions and prayers, especially when this beautiful heavenly rainwater falls off the stones that are placed in honor of those that you love. So it has a special, very personal power as you ask God and the higher deities to help you. Rainwater from tombstones, they say, can assist you. And bear in mind, of course, when you have houseplants that are maybe a bit sluggish and they just want a touch of nature themselves, things like spider plants and snake plants, they remove a lot of toxicity from the air. In fact, they are known as the best plants to have in your home. I have one right here in the parlor that I've had for years to remove toxicity from the air. Any of cars that go by, all sorts of sulfides, methanes, who the hell knows what's in the air, but your plants will love when you bring in a dish of rainwater just for them. Even put in a spray bottle and cleanse their leaves with rainwater. And in essence, they will treat you in kind. They'll be good to you. So by you cleansing them and purifying them, they will continue to do what their karmic destiny is, to purify and help you. 2 of the places in the world that are most associated with rain, and I've been to both and performed a lot of my magic there, are Lietuvia, Lithuania, and Iceland. You'll have to excuse Maximus, but let me go off camera for 1 sec. I'm gonna go get him. Here's little Maximus. Now, when I had been to Lithuania, and Lithuania actually translates to mean rain, they're very much into, this is little Maximus, they're very much into the pantheon, the deities, the Baltic deities of rain. So I had gone to Kaunas, and there was a huge black granite statue of Perkūnas, the thunder god. I placed amethyst in his lap. I felt, being as it's a third eye stone, and it's said to bring very moderating results, okay, I thought it would be kind of nice to put that energy into the vibrational field, because as you know, rain, too much of it can be overwhelming. But sometimes when there's a lot of drought, which there is this particular summer in parts of the world, the Americas are very much in extremes. So it's either drought or sometimes it could be flooding. But I find that putting a moderating stone in a place where rain is premier, you're putting out a vibrational field of balance. Now, this particular property that I'm speaking to you from, the Victorian, has probably maybe 20 300-year-old oaks on the property. They're old-growth oaks, and they're quite astonishing. They're quite the crow attractors, but more importantly, for the sake of this video, they are scientifically understood as lightning attractors. So although it's kind of a little bit sometimes unnerving to think that this old house has lightning attractors, lightning rods all over it, at the same time though, you know, lightning is considered though, in its better form, to be very purifying. When it hits the earth, it purifies the earth. It's understood that when it hits the earth, it's also stimulating plant growth. You know, there's mention long ago in Lietuva, Lithuania, the first time it was ever mentioned about this god Perkūnas was when they were also mentioning simultaneously Saint Bruno on March 1st. Was it March 1st? I'm sorry, March 9th. March 9th of year 1009, they mention Saint Bruno in the same breath as Perkūnas, the thunder god. My point, though, I was going to say is, which is very interesting to me personally, because my dad, being Lithuanian, is named Bruno, ironically, Teutonic name meaning like brown. But I want to mention one last thing about rain that's just sort of I think the most unusual happenstance of them all. The wildest of all of the rain lore is that sometimes it's been known to rain frogs and fish. And if you don't think it's true, it is. And I remember when I was a little boy, when it first happened to me, I was about maybe 7, in the backyard with my brothers playing, and it was a rainstorm. We weren't called in yet. It came about rather quickly, and all of a sudden, in these giant raindrops, hundreds, if not thousands, of little frogs were falling into the backyard from the rain. Now, this was a shocker in the days, but having done some research on it, I found that in the New York area, that happened quite frequently back when I was a kid. And it still happens all over the world. It's happened as recently as just this year. What happens is the water becomes almost tornadic. It creates water spouts. These water spouts then travel over open water, or probably in the case when I was a little boy, over a vernal pond in the forest. I live very close to what us guys called the woods. So what it did is, at that particular time, when the vernal pond was teeming with wildlife, frogs, especially, meaning that the soil was pristine in those days, which in some places of the world it still is, like Iceland. But what it did is it sucked up in the energy field all of those frogs, pulled them right out of the water, and these spouts, once the wind picks these insects up, these animals up. Insects too, but what they can do is they will drop them very far distances, which is quite interesting. So there was even recently a big discussion at the Society for Natural Sciences about this tornadic action, these vernal ponds, and how far these creatures have been deposited. So you know, over the years has come the expression, and this goes back to the 16th century, it's raining cats and dogs. But really that's because it's been raining frogs and fish. This has happened in Japan and Hungary as of just 2009 and 2010 recently. And sometimes, I hate to kind of say this on a video, but sometimes when much bigger mammals get caught up in these spouts and thrown, sometimes it's just pieces of animals though. That's why that crazy mantra of it's raining cats and dogs, because it's almost like it's spooky. But again, that can happen under intense weather conditions. But man, it does happen. So I hope I've given you something to think about when it comes to the magic of rain. It's very mystical. But that said, and with the approaching major storm that's about to hit the New York area, let me do a grand trine read and see what the vibrational fields have to say when we discuss such things. Such things. Okay, let's see what the vibrations have to say today. Alright, so we're discussing the mysteries and the magic of rain. And there's a very powerful approaching storm that's going to create a lot of electricity in the air. And the vibrational fields today say this. This baby almost wants to come out. You know what? I'm not going to neglect it. It says this. Animals. An image of animals. So it's interesting that we're discussing. It's raining cats and dogs. It's raining fish and frogs. And then you get an image of animals. And I've noticed with a lot of my speaking engagements publicly lately, it's all had something to do with nature and specifically animals. You know, I'm kind of a little bit wiped out in this particular video. I was up all night, couldn't sleep at all really. I walked out into the early morning mist as the raccoons were coming to nest, and the bats were going to bed, and the birds were coming out singing, and I could see only two planets were together in the night sky shining on me. But it's very interesting to have been so much in tune with nature. The reason rain is magic is because all of nature is magic. And it's interesting that these little creatures that you see in this painting happen to be drinking from a bowl of water. Okay, so interpret that the way you'd like to. Honoring nature. Vibrational field number two in the Grand Trine says this. It's an image once more of nature. So it's plant life. These happen to be hueberries here in the US. The image is called Taxus baccata. If it's used in small amounts, it's a heart medication. If it is more intensely ingested, which it should never be, it's toxic. So once again, I find it to be very much in parallel with our discussion of rain, which is, it's beautiful and it's magical in its small doses. But of course, I don't have to tell you guys who have ever been at the mercy of flooding or powerful rains. It can also, like any other element, which we'll discuss in other videos, fire, air, or falling earth, it can be too much, but in small doses it can be magical. Okay, so the key here, I guess, also is that being as we're getting animals and plant life is, they're very Daniel-esque images. They have nothing to do, again, with tarot per se, but they're talking about the reverence of, the adoration of, the respect of nature. And the helix of the pyramid today, under a disappearing new moon, as it shuts off its light, the vibes say this. I want to go right to the middle of the deck, so I will. The vibrational field is completely Taurus ruled. So although I happen to be reading you as we're going from Cancer to Leo, or Cleo, I like to call it, this vibration was Taurus ruled. And I think it has to be Taurus ruled for a reason, because we're discussing nature, and Taurus is an earth sign. Interesting though to note, this vibrational field has a lot to do with material energy. It has to do with the vibrations between people in this image. Two people, a man and a woman, and an animal, ironically. So we must include ourselves in this scheme of all that is natural. We are very much a part of it. It is important in this modern science fiction age we're now living in that we don't forget that we are not disconnected from it. We are a part of it. This is a beautiful vibrational field. In Kabbalah it's called Gibora, in earth. So it's a 5 vibrational field in earth. 5 is up to you. Is it imbalanced because it's 3 and 2? Or is it beautifully balanced because it's a 5-pointed energy field, a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs? It's up to you. So I think there's a very powerful message that's come through here with that 5. It's up to you to be part of this vibrational field that balances all of nature We are the responsible parties. May you have a beautiful summer. Now that it's moving from zenith to the depth of summer, and it will ultimately fade, and we'll do future videos. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about that later. What I want to do is take you guys out into the backyard. This storm is approaching. It's going to be quite dark out there. But you're going to get to see the swallowtails. A female swallowtail has planted her eggs all over the curly parsley. And although one guy has already taken off to chrysalis, I think about 4 of them are out there now in various stages, which is quite unique. I've got them in all different sizes, from little black babies to the green guys to big plump green guys with stripes. They're adorable. Let's go out and see them. This is a view from on high in the backyard, and as you can see, there's storm clouds coming in, and every once in a while you hear quite a clap of thunder. To the left, which is just off screen though, you can't see it, is a dead branch of an oak. And most every afternoon, a yellow-crowned night heron and his bride like to sit on this dying branch and gaze into my neighbor's built-in pool. I've often had to psychically tell him, there's no food, dude, in that pool. Go back down to the marshes. But he's stubborn. So here we are in the garden with my caterpillar friends. As you can see, the sky is starting to become more menacing. But come on over and let's take a look at the little guys. So here is 2 of my latest little friends. They will ultimately be black swallowtails. They have a brother nearby who's much smaller than they are, but they're enjoying this selection I've given them of flat leaf and curly parsley. They will continue to eat until there's no more food source, and after there's no more food source, he'll go into his chrysalis stage. What's interesting about him is his defense mechanism, which I'll show you. If he gets what he feels is threatened by, let's say, a bird, and I'll pretend I am one, little pincers will come out of the top of his head that have an odor on them that's quite unpleasant. I'll try not to get it on me, though. He's going to go for me with it, though. I'll try not to get it on me. Now you can see, here they go. That has an odor that most birds would find unpleasant at best. So he's pointing them in my direction. I'll try to get him from the other side, but he's going to get, there they go. He's going to try to get me with him, but that's a very good defense mechanism because I have at times gotten this on my fingers, and it is awful. It is quite awful. Of course I love him and I wouldn't hurt him, but sorry guy. I guess, as you've noticed, the little guy isn't that little anymore. He's coming for my finger. Now remember guys, your Danny is living a magical life. I do in every season. I love every day, and you should too. I actually have a lot of readings to attend to right after this video is filmed, but do bear in mind, that's what I'm here to do for you. My readings are nothing but the absolute best that I could possibly give you. They are my soul. So when you see those little mini Grand Trine reads, that's just a touch of what I'm able to tap into when you're right here being read. And I read people all over the world. I don't just go to these countries I spoke of earlier. I know the people in these countries. I read for them. And I burn CDs for them, send it to you guys. So my number's on my fan page. It's everywhere. You can find it. It's the same number I've had for 30 years. So just call me. If you're too far away and book a read, we'll do something wonderful for you. I've been in the zone like never before lately. Or if you have the luxury, come in person and get that private read. I'll still burn, of course, that CD for you. You don't ever have to have the pressure of trying to remember everything. I'm an artist. I have to archive every moment, and I will do that for you. But whether I read you or not, this is my gift to you. This energy field, this hot summer vibrational field. You can see how hot it is. I love it, and I love you too. Surprise! We did a YouTube video on rain, and it's raining.